Video. I am your host, MrBevers. We're getting into box number 2 of Magic Origins. I hope you enjoyed the first video and the second video. Again, this is another one of my old videos, so you'll have to bear with me, and I hope you enjoy. Thanks, and let's get right into it. Is there other stuff, as in, is there other giveaway things? Right now, all I have set up is my land giveaways. Oh, other than Origins that I'm opening. No. So I've already opened all of my boxes of everything else. Origins is what I'm doing now because I lack a bunch of Origins for my collection, which is why I'm doing it. So I apologize if Origins is fairly boring for you, but Origins is what I am going to be working on today. I just cut myself. Just cut my finger on this box of Magic cards. So I've got to punish it, probably. So, correct me on how to pronounce your name. Sitlas? Sitlas? Is that how you pronounce it? Sitlas? Sitlas? How do you want me to pronounce your name? And not only that, do you have a Puka Trade account? Did you get blood on the cards? No. No, I did not, Bob. It's just basically like a paper cut, so it's not a huge deal. It's not bleeding all over the place. See here, like you can see it. Ooh, look at that little cut right there. Right on the nail bed. Perfect spot for a cut. Perfect spot for a cut. What colors are you talking about, +2 to happiness? What colors are you talking about? That's the question I have for you, because that is what matters. Because I can name a bunch of aggressive cards that are good in a bunch of colors that maybe aren't the colors you play. And what good does that help you? Or do you just want to know in general? In Jeskai, so you're talking red, blue, white. Okay, so first things first, you want lightning bolts. Or are you talking standard? Because if you're talking standard, then you want any kind of burn you can find. Temur Battle Rage is a solid card for Jeskai decks because of prowess. It's an absurd card. 2 cost red, so I'm hoping that this is an Abbot, and it's a 2/1. So I'm assuming it's an Abbot. Oof, yes. Abbot of Carol Keep is very good. Very good card. Nice way to start off the box, other than cutting myself, you know. Very nice rare. Very nice rare. So I'm assuming if you're playing Jeskai, you're playing prowess. Modern Legacy Vintage Power Level cards. Okay, so you want stuff. Okay, you want Ponders. You want Serum Visions. You want Lightning Bolt. You want Chain Lightning. You want man, in white you want Path to Exile, Swords of Plowshares. Very good aggressive removal spells because they're 1 cost. If you're specifically looking for stuff that allows you to be more aggressive with your attacks and that kind of stuff, you're looking for pump spells, that kind of stuff, or burn just in general. If you're talking in Commander, you definitely want to have a copy of Fiery Impulse, which is it Fiery Impulse I'm talking about? No, I'm thinking of, I can't remember the name of it. But it's the Miracle red card, very good. It burns for 1 red if you draw it off the top of your deck. So I mean, it does 5 damage for 1 cost. And if you happen to have it in your hand and not be able to cast it for its miracle cost, it's not as good, but it's still not terrible. See, that's my problem with... Burn is pretty weak in Commander, I agree, but the idea is that you're pairing it with your Jeskai creatures, which are, I assume, you're using prowess and things like that, and stuff that, you know, that kind of stuff. I mean, you gotta remember, Commander for me is out of my sort of wheelhouse, so I don't know how slow it is versus how quick it needs to be. I'm sure that there's tons of stuff out there that's really good. You're actually running 0 creatures. Okay. So, the new Chandra, actually. The new Chandra is 6 cost. 6 cost, but her +1 ability is you put 2 3/1s with haste onto the battlefield. Not bad. Pretty aggressive. What we got here? A 5-drop? We've had this one before. This is like the, Nyssa's Revelation. No, we didn't open that one last time. There's an ad. First ad of the day. And by that I mean first ad of this box. The new Gideon from Oath or from BFZ was very good too, because as soon as he comes out, you can ultimate him. But I mean, if you're not running any creatures, he becomes a 4/4 himself with Indestructible. So I mean, oh look, it's the Arvacious Dragon, the mythic that we were talking about. That's worth like nothing. So there he is. Speaking of, there he is. That guy that nobody likes. He's the card you want to play late in the game when you need extra cards to play and you have lots of mana to do so that at the end of your turn you don't have to discard anything. Which is probably why he's so bad and why nobody likes him. What are we looking at here? A 2-cost whites card. It's not a creature. So it's not a creature. So that means it's probably that same white one that we had before, which is like the... if a card would come in into play, but not from... if it wasn't cast, then exile it instead. Hallowed Moonlight, that's the one. It's an interesting instant. It shuts off token generation. And we got a foil Force Mage. Another ad. Another ad. All the ads. Okay, so we're going to keep going here. Gaia's Revenge. I'm just going to start plowing through. I'm going to stop doing the reveals. I'll only mention the cards that are pretty decent. So we got a foil Hydrolash there. Let's just plow through this, get this done and over with, and then we'll move on to doing the next giveaway. How's that sound? How does that sound? Yeah, they definitely lowered the drop rate of ads. For sure. Okay, there's another Sphinx's Tutelage. We need that, so we're going to put that to the side. Okay, we got a Gilt Leaf Warden. Very interesting elf, black elf card. 4/3 Menace for 5. But when he comes in, you can destroy a target non-elf creature whose power and toughness are not equal. It's interesting. It's an interesting card. There's another ad. We're doing packs, Bob. We're doing. We have a whole box right here. What are you so worried about? Jace's Sanctum. Nothing special. Instant sorceries you cast cost 1 less. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, you get to scry 1. I'm sure it's not bad in Commander, due to the fact that you get to cast 4 less, and then also scry. Scry is your friend in Commander decks, as far as I understand. So another Soulblade Jin. You've seen that guy before. Another ad. So we're just going to crank through now. All you people who are bored with Origins, we're going to crank through them. I'm going to stop making you sit around and watch me open these packs. Despoiler of Souls, there's a new one. We didn't see that last box. So it's a 2-drop, 3/1. Despoiler of Souls can't block, but you could pay 2, exile 2 other creature cards from your graveyard, and return him from your graveyard to the battlefield. Not bad. It's an interesting aggro black card. Scab Clan Berserkers. So a 3-drop, 2/2 with haste, renown 1, and whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, if he is renowned, it deals 2 damage to that player. Like, this card is crazy in limited. It's crazy. It shuts them down on doing pretty much any sort of tricks, and just to remove this card, they have to take 2 damage, pretty much, which is crazy. So, I mean, very good in limited. Very good in limited. Little too expensive for, like a standard red deck wins. Look, another rare that we didn't see last box. Kithion's Irregulars. Renown 1. It's a 4/3 for 4. Renown 1. He has an ability, pay 2, tap target creature. So, I mean, his Renown doesn't really do anything. Other than just gives him a 1/1 counter. So he becomes a 5/4. That's about it for that guy. But, you know, not terrible. I have not sleeved any cards in this box yet. That's because this box has been... The Abbot of Carol Keep is probably the most expensive card we've opened so far. So first rare was a good way to start the box. We haven't seen anything else of value just as of yet. Put that in the wrong place there. Tragic Arrogance is another card we haven't seen. So this is your white removal, mass removal spell. For each player, you choose from among the permanents that player controls an artifact, creature, an enchantment, and a planeswalker. Then the player sacrifices all other non-land permanents he or she controls. This is an interesting card to go with. It That Betrays. Specifically because when It That Betrays is in play, any permanent that they sacrifice, you just receive. And this is causing them to sacrifice their permanents. I've never thought about that. That's an interesting combination. Okay, so this is a foil Topan Freeblade. Nothing too exciting. Another ad. Joyous day. Joyous day, I say. The ads are real, folks. The ads are real. So we're going to go like this. We can leave this. There, okay. So we're gonna just leave that up so that people who tune in might be able to see that we're doing a full art land giveaway. So another will breaker. Nothing super exciting. Wizard. He's a wizard. Will breaker is interesting because if you have a lot of little tricks that target your opponent's creatures, you take them. And then they're yours for as long as you control this 2/3. So as long as you can make your 2/3 into something that can't be targeted, shit could get out of hand for your opponent. Sure could. Goblin Pile Driver. I like this guy a lot. I just added this guy to my Goblin deck, which I've had for years. So I've had my Goblin deck since, man, 95, 96. And so it was all like the Onslaught cards. So it was alright. It just wasn't, you know, it was good. It just wasn't good for modern Magic. Because it hadn't been updated since then. I've now updated it with like Krenko and these guys and Legion Loyalists, and oh my goodness, it just performs way better now. Like I'm super, super happy about how it works now against my friends. I can generally kill at least one person in a multiplayer game before I get killed. Let's put it that way. And sometimes more, depending on what happens. If people don't really pay attention to my Goblin deck, it can kill people fairly quickly. Sword of the Animist. Now, I don't know if this is really worth anything, but it's an interesting card. So, it's 2 mana, 2 to equip. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. Whenever equipped creature attacks, you may search your library for a basic land card, put it on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. So, it's essentially like searching for land, which is solid for a landfall deck, let me tell you. I'm currently building a green landfall deck. And that might make the cut to go into it. We'll see. And I know what you mean. Like, you think, oh, it's really good for ramp for colors that aren't green, because green has so much other ramp in it. But you know, if green can get more ramp than it already has, why not? Guiltleaf Dean, fine, or Dane, or whatever. I'm tired of pronouncing that person's name. Okay, so if you've made a Puka-Trade account, I will message you. I'll message you on Twitch here, and you can give me your Puka-Trade ID. I mean, you can give it to me now if you want. Yeah, you just need to give me the account name, and then I should be able to mail you the cards. Chandra's Ignition. You saw this card before. 5-drop sorcery. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to each other creature and each opponent. So, very good in multiplayer games. Oh, it's just the same name. Okay, perfect. This is interesting. So, okay, who's ready to see this? Are you guys ready for an interesting thing? So I took all the commons off this. There's 1 uncommon. 2 uncommons. Okay, 3 uncommons. So you would think that the next card should be the rare, okay? The next card should be the rare. Let's just take a look here. It's black, right? It's 2 cost. Okay. I don't really know of any. Let's see what its power and toughness is 2/3. Wait a minute, look at that. Can you see that? That's a Shambling Ghoul. That's a common. That's a common. Oh, wait, it's a foil. That is a foil common that came after my 3 uncommons. Okay? So my foil came after my uncommons, followed by my rare, which was a Gideon. So because of the flip card, they bumped the foil up a card? I honestly, I don't know what happened in that pack. But that's a Gideon. He's kind of the shittiest of the Planeswalkers from this set. He's still not terrible, but he's definitely not as good as the others. I think he's only worth like $4 or something like that. So like, he can have a sleeve, I guess, but like, meh. He doesn't really need it. He doesn't really need the sleeve, is sort of what it comes down to. So, Seattless, have you made sure you set up your account entirely with your mailing address and everything, right? Because if you didn't set up your mailing address in your account on Puka Trade, I won't be able to send the cards to you. So just make sure that you've done that. Leave him naked. Listen, Bob, you were complaining. So another languish. You wanted to see me sleeve something, so I did. Another ad. The joyous joys of ads. Okay, that's perfect. That's all you need to do, and you should hopefully get your lands. I mean, depending on where are you located. That's my next question. Which country are you in? Because you say that's in your native language, so I'm assuming you don't speak English, or English isn't your native language, I should say. You do speak English. You seem to speak English fine. So another Embermaw Helion. Lithuania. Okay, so I don't know how long it'll take the cards to get to you. But they'll come. You'll get them. Alright, so our foil rare is another Kythian's Irregulars. It's a fine card. Nothing super special. Harbinger of Tides. I remember when this guy first came out, he was worth actually a bunch of money. I don't know if he's still worth a bunch of money. I don't think he is, but he could still be worth something. Who knows? So we'll just put him in a sleeve for now anyway, just to be safe. Another ad. All the ads forever. Oh, here we go. Sigil of the Empty Throne. That's another one we didn't see yet. Sigil of the Empty Throne is whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you put a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying onto the battlefield. This card is crazy good in my enchantment deck. Such a good card. I enjoy it a lot. My friends hate it because, you know, by the time it's turn like 6 or 7, I have like 3 or 4 angels minimum with just more about to come out. And even if they have board wipe, doesn't help them because I just play an enchantment and I get a 4/4, and then I put something on that 4/4 and I get another 4/4. And so basically just load up the boards with 4/4s forever. And then they're like, I can't do anything about this. Talent of the Telepath. So 4 cost, sorcery. Target opponent reveals the top 7 cards of his or her library. You may cast an instant or sorcery card from among them without paying its mana cost. Then that player puts the rest in his or her graveyard. If you have 2 or more instants, You may cast up to 2 revealed instance or sorcery cards. So, you know, an interesting... Okay, and then we got a foil Goblin Glory Chaser. It's an interesting card. How old is this set? It's the set that came out just before the last 2 that you've seen me open, Bob. So this one came out last year in the summer, I would say. Mana Gorger Hydra. It's a rare we didn't see in the last set. It's also worth a pretty penny. Mainly because whenever they cast a spell, you get a 1/1 counter. So no matter what they do, he's going to get bigger. Unless they just remove him, which is basically what they need to do. Otherwise, he will get out of hand. Otherwise, he will get out of hand. Another ad. Joyous day. Joyous, joyous day. Okay, another rare we haven't seen yet. The Graveblade Marauder. He's a 3-cost 1/4 with Death Touch. Whenever he deals combat damage to a player, that player loses life equal to the number of creature cards in my graveyard. It was a very good card in limited. It definitely messed things up a bunch. We got a foil plains here. Woo, foil plains, woo. Not as good as a foil full art land, let me tell you. But still, a foil plains is a foil plains. So that is another ad as well in that pack. Another Mizium Meddler. So there he is. Thar he be, and what have you. Let's just put these guys over here like this, and we can put another row here. Another ad. My God. My God, the ads. Okay, another rare that we haven't seen yet. Infinite Obliteration. So, 3 cost for sorcery, black. Name a creature card, search target opponent's graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards with that name. Exile them, that player shuffles his or her library. 1. So far, 1. One of the Sphinx's 2 lich that I need. Another ad. My God. And nothing else. As of yet. Although the sword of the Animus might go in a deck. So, okay with that. This is another rare we haven't seen. So it's interesting. The last 2 boxes, we've had a lot of rares we didn't see in the first box. So it's almost like you're getting a full copy of the game, the set from 2 boxes. It's not bad. 5 mana cost, 4/4, but he has flash, and so whenever a creature deals combat damage to you, if this guy entered the battlefield this turn, you exile that creature until this guy leaves play. So essentially, you let them swing in with a whole bunch of things. You let them hit you, and you cast this guy after you've declared no blocks, and then their guys hit you. And they all get exiled. That stack of commons, though. You know it, Ash. You know it. For those of you just tuning in, we will be doing a giveaway right after the end of this box. So we've only got about 6 more packs left. We were doing a full art land giveaway through Puka Trade. So this is an Outland Colossus. 5 mana for a 6/6 with Renown 6, and he can't be blocked by more than one creature. So he's a 6/6 that basically goes, do you have chumps? I hope you have chumps, because if you don't have chumps, I'm getting in for 6. And if you've got something big enough to kill him, well then, alright, kudos to you, but turn 6 swinging with a 6/6 is normally pretty rough for your opponent. In limited, I should say. Molten Vortex, another card we didn't see in the last box. So it's a 1-cost red enchantment. Pay 1 red, discard a land card. It deals 2 damage. So it's a deck. It's based for a deck that just has lots of lands and that you draw. Another ad. My goodness. Another ad. Blurg. Blurgity blurg. Demonic Pact. Now, this is an interesting mythic. You can definitely lose the game very easily with this card, but you can also do a lot of fun stuff with it. So at the beginning of your upkeep, you choose one that hasn't been chosen. Demonic Pact deals 4 damage to target creature or player, and you gain 4 life. Target opponent discards 2 cards, draw 2 cards, or you lose the game. Now, obviously, you don't want to pick lose the game, okay? But what you can do is you can do the others and then somehow either blow this up or trade it to your opponent and make them lose the game. So it's an interesting thing. It's an interesting thing that can happen. Another ad. Another ad. All those ads, let me tell you. All those ads, let me tell you. Knight of the White Orchid. We talked about that guy last box. Very good, I like him. I like him quite a bit. A 2/2 first striker for 2 is always good, and he has an upside that if you don't play him on turn 2, you can get an extra land. Okay, so here's another rare we didn't see in the last box. Orbs of Warding. You have hexproof, and if a creature would deal damage to you, prevent 1 of that damage for 5 mana. So essentially they can't burn you in the face, they can't make you discard, they can't do anything fancy, funniful like that. And we got a foil Drake out of that pack. And another ad. Yet another ad. Yet another ad. Another rare that we didn't get in the last box. So this is Vryn's Wingmare. Wingmare? Yeah, Wingmare. So flying 2/1, non-creature spells cost 1 more to cast. And he costs 3 to play. Last pack, we've only opened 3 mythics. So if this doesn't have a mythic in it, we're short on mythics out of this box. It's not going to have a mythic in it, knowing my luck. Last box had 5 mythics in it. This box only has 3. I mean, seems fair. Oh, well, it does have a mythic. And that's Pyromancer's Goggles. It's an interesting 5-drop artifact that adds a red mana to your mana pool, but when you use that red mana that this generates to cast a red instant or sorcery spell, that spell gets copied and you can cast it again with new targets. And there you have it. That was box number 2 of Origins. Magic Origins. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video. I'd really appreciate it. Also, don't forget to check out my store, nerdvanastore.ca, as well as my Patreon. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, may your pulls ever be better.